Jesus is a myth. Oh, really? I'll prove it to you. Check this out.
Roman historian who lived through the reigns of over half a dozen Roman emperors. Considered one of the greatest historians of Rome, Tacitus verifies the biblical account of Jesus' execution at the hands of Pontius Pilate, who governed Judea from 26 to 36 AD during the reign of Tiberius. Tacitus writes the following: Christus, the founder of the Christian name, was put to death by Pontius Pilate, procurator of Judea in the reign of Tiberius. But the pernicious superstition, repressed for a time, broke out again, not only through Judea, where the mischief originated, but through the city of Rome also. It would confirm the following: that Jesus did exist, that he was the founder of Christianity, that Jesus was put to death by Pilate, that Christianity originated in Judea with Jesus, and that Christianity later spread.
Okay, sure, whatever. He lived, so what? Well, according to the Bible, his word, he said, now, hold it right there. I don't believe in the Bible. It's just some stuff written by a man. Now, let me correct you right there, my friend. The Bible is made up of 66 books written by more than 30 writers since the 6th century. And these were inspired by the Holy Spirit, who is the Spirit of God, as said in 2 Timothy 3:16-17. But I'll just show you the evidence so you see for yourself.
The first part of the history with evidence is when I was challenged to intellectually examine the claims of Jesus Christ as being the Son of God and the Bible being true, which I thought was a joke. And so I actually set out to write evidence of man's verdict against the Christian faith. As I gathered more and more evidence, all of a sudden I realized intellectually I was wrong.
The inscription on the shiny black stone described repairs made to the Temple of Solomon by a king called Jehoash in the 8th century BCE. If it was genuine, it was priceless. Like the ivory pomegranate, it appeared to confirm that Solomon's temple had actually existed. Better still, it provided unique confirmation of events described in the Old Testament.
Okay, so Jesus lived and the Bible isn't a storybook. That's fine by me. I don't mind religion, and neither do I like history. What is it to me? Don't you want to know what it says? Because it is happening today. All that Jesus said would happen more than 2,000 years ago is happening today. Jesus said, and you will ask anything in my name, and I will do it.
I'm going to pray, Jordan, just think about chocolate or ice cream. Which flavor food? Pizza! Let's pray for another fella. Jesus, touch Jordan right now. We come against disease in Jesus' name. Set him free. I rebuke this disease. God, touch Jordan right now. Let your power flow through right now. Set him free.
Feet and his spine.
Set him free. We declare the power of your blood right now. Touch his emotions, Lord. Touch Jordan right now.
Touch his bones.
Hey, Jordan, how's that feeling? Feeling better?
Yes.
Let's just give it a whirl. A little leggy up. Just stand up. How's that? How's it feel to stand? Was it painful before the stand?
Yes.
Let's go for a walk, little fella. How's that feeling?
Good.
No pain?
No.
Give one a hand, everybody.
Away with pain.
So how long has it been since you can walk without pain?
It's been a year.
Come here, little fella.
A year. He was diagnosed.
Little fella. Now run! Come on, we can do this, mate! Here! Johnny, come on, mate! John, I almost fell over! How you feeling?
Good.
No pain?
No.
We're running again! Come on, John!
Put in your eyes. What? That's what I'm looking for. See, that makes it interesting, doesn't it? So that's my challenge, is that I'll let you guys, we'll do the test. I'll let you guys see it yourself. I'll let you get your eyes right down, and I will pray, and you'll see the leg grow out in front of your eyes. Now, do you believe that could happen? You don't believe it? No. No way. Perfect. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, look, you guys, it's going to take 5 minutes of your time off Pokemon, but if you see a miracle, won't that, be worth it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to this bench, and we'll check you guys out, and then I'm going to have you guys verify who's got the short legs, okay? All right. So we found that this young man right here has a short leg. What's your name?
Tafa.
Say that again.
Tafa.
Tafa. And what's your name?
Jaden.
Jaden. And Jaden doesn't believe in miracles, really. Well, the kind I'm talking about. So Jaden's going to film this for me, right, Jaden? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, is that right? Okay. All right. Well, you're good. Just saying. Let's see the legs again. Just straight. He doesn't have a lot of difference. It's just a tiny bit. But come over this side, man. I want you to see the heels. Do you see the heels?
Yeah.
You see the heels? Now, I want you to know I'm pushing in on his heels, so I'm not pulling his shoe off, okay? Can you guys see from that edge that it's it's like a half inch, something like that? It's not big. I've seen him go 3 inches, okay? So this is tiny. So, now watch this. You just relax. All right, in Jesus' name, let the leg come out now. All the way. More.
What?
More.
What the heck?
More.
Oh my God! Yes!
You're
no,
Now let me ask you. Well, I've seen him go 3 inches, but let me ask you a question. You said you had back problems.
Yeah.
Do you have those, did you have it currently today?
Well, yeah, when I was doing the squats.
Okay, so here's what I want to know is, before I talked to you a few minutes ago, was your back hurting at all?
Yes.
All right, check it out and see if you find any pain right now. Move it around. Check it out. Have you got any pain? No. Yeah, you won't. Okay, now here's the next challenge.
I do have pain in my knees, though.
Oh, no. Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so watch this. Now, you know I've never met this guy before, right?
No.
I don't know any of you guys. Okay, so which knee's bad?
It's both of my knees. I have tendonitis.
Okay, perfect. So here's what I need to know. We're going to see that pain go just like that, but here's what I need to know. Is your pain level 1 through 10 right now? 10's real bad, 1's not so bad. What is it? If you move around, check it out. What is it?
It's like a 6.
Perfect. All right. Can you film this for me?
Sir.
Just kind of hold it. It doesn't have a viewfinder, go. So it's about a 6 right now, both knees.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I do this.
All right. So I'm going to pray for him, and God's going to take all the pain away. Wow. And you're going to just have to believe him because you're a friend. You got to believe him, right? And you don't lie for me. I want you to be honest. All right. So watch this. Heavenly Father, what's your name? Tafa? Tafa. Heavenly Father, I thank you for Tafa. I know that you love him. So right now I command all the pain in these knees to leave now. Just hang on for a minute. Just relax. Okay, Tafa, move your legs around. Look for the pain.
No, like I'm dead ass, bro. Oh.
Okay. All right, now you're not.
Like I'm serious.
You're not kidding, are you? You're not kidding.
I don't even feel the swelling that I always have right here.
Yeah, you're not kidding, right?
I have
Okay, so the rest of you guys, anybody got any pain in their bodies right now?
I got back
I've got.
En el nombre de Jesús. Fuera. Be restored. Right. ¿Puedo agarrar la bolsa y sí, te quiero enseñar algo, señora? Está sana. Está sana. ¿Está bien? Nosotros sanamos en el nombre de Jesús.
Oh, by the way, Jesus knew that 2,000 years later would still be able to do these things because he said in his word.
Mark 16, verse 17 to 18. These signs will accompany those who have believed. In my name they will cast out demons, they will speak in new tongues, they will pick up serpents, and if they drink anything deadly, it will not hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick, and they will get well.
Well, I guess it's magic then. Wow. You'll choose to believe anything but the truth, huh? Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one goes to the Father except through me. See, the Bible talks about heaven and hell. Other things I don't believe in, by the way. Oh, really? Search Google and YouTube. Maybe you believe them. See the number of people who've been confirmed dead by doctors and rose up to confirm that they'd been in heaven, hell, or they'd seen Jesus, and not. These are not only Christian testimonies. They're atheists, Buddhists, Muslims, name it. Just check this.
And so I took the gun and I aimed it directly for my heart because I was not going to miss. And I wanted that gun to send me into eternity because I was so desperate for my pain and my suffering to end.
So you pulled the trigger and there was a loud bang, and then what happened?
Pat, when I pulled that trigger, I knew my body was dying. I felt the blood rushing through my lungs. Death gripped my body. I became blind. I became deaf. And as my soul left my body, I began traveling faster than the speed of light. And I began falling and falling and falling. And all of a sudden, this explosion happened on the inside of me. It was as if there was like a sulfuric type acid burn that consumed me in every way. It was so hideous and terrifying. There are no words to describe the level of pain and the type of burn that I was experiencing.
What was it?
It was hell, Pat. It was what the Bible describes as hell. It was the fire of hell. And when I looked around, not only was I in a place of death, but I now had become death. I was no longer in a place where there was peace. I was in a place of total torment.
Were you terrified?
I had become fear.
Oh, you become fear.
I had become a being of fear. You know, the Bible describes that death is the absence of God.
Yeah.
And so in the absence of God, in the absence of anything good, your soul actually transforms into a being of fear, which is the opposite of love. So my being, my person turned into a being of fear, a being of pain, a being in total isolation.
There wasn't anybody else around you.
Pat, I could look look out and I could see thousands, millions of people that were all around me, but I was unable to communicate with them. It was a huge sea of people.
Yes,
and there were many, many chambers that were all around me. And all of the people that were there were in the same formless being, screaming out in agony and total terror in a hideous scream. Then there was no end to it, Pat. There are no words to describe how horrific this was.
They were screaming in agony.
They were screaming in agony, and because they had become total beings of death.
Yeah.
And that's hard for the physical mind to understand those things. But when I would look at it, I remember looking at an individual, particularly, and they were as close to me as you are. And when I saw them, Pat, I knew everything about them. I knew every sin they had committed. I knew my knowledge about their life was completely full. I knew everything they had done wrong. I knew their thoughts. I knew their emotions. I knew the will. I knew everything I could think upon. My wisdom was in its fullness. It was like a Harvard degree instantly, you know, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. In that hideous state of a burning torment, the only knowledge that mattered was that Jesus Christ was Lord. And here I am in this state of agony, indescribable agony, and the only thing that mattered was that I never surrendered to the lordship of Jesus Christ.
A 4-year-old named Colton, during an operation of a ruptured appendix, went to heaven and met his great-grandpa, Pope, whom he'd never met on earth, and also met his big sister, whom he hadn't met either, because she had been miscarriaged before he was born, and he had no prior knowledge of. His dad wrote more, this story in Heaven is for Real.
Then, looking up at me and goes, "Dad, do you know I almost died?" And my first thought was, maybe he overheard the nurse say that, or maybe they thought he was under anesthesia, you know, and he wasn't. But it wasn't till 4 months after we got out of the hospital that we finally listened to our son.
And that's where I got to see heaven. No, Jesus and some angels came and flew me up to heaven.
And I said, "So, Colton, what did Jesus look like?"
I knew that the first person I saw was Jesus. He was wearing white robes with a purple sash, and he just came down nicely and gracefully.
Well, Dad, Jesus has markers. Dad, Jesus has markers. I didn't know what he meant, so I finally asked the right question. "Colton, where are Jesus' markers?" And he drops his toys down, and he stands up, and he just points, "Dad, they were right here." He takes his fingers, points to the palms, then he bends over and touches the tops of his feet and looks up to me. That's where Jesus' markers were, Dad.
When I was in the throne room of God to start with, so I got to see what that looked like.
I saw your other 2 kids, and I just looked at him because I wasn't sure what he was talking about, but I had 2 miscarriages before Landon was born. We had never shared that with Landon. He did not know that we had lost 2 children before him.
I knew that they were my siblings, even though no one had ever told me about them. Just being in heaven, I guess you know your own, or you know who everyone is.
He says each time he died, he had a different experience in heaven. During the 3rd time, he says he met Jesus and was given a mission.
I knew that I was looking upon God. Such... You're just awestruck. You can't be prepared. You have no way you can be prepared to see this. I stood in absolute amazement. And as I looked towards his head, his hair was white radiance. Out of his face appeared to be light billowing forth, literally permeating out of his entire face. You couldn't see the features of his face because the light was 7 to 10 times brighter than all the light I'd seen, and it was literally emanating forth from his face. I began walking closer towards him. I wondered if I could just see his face. I'll know who God is. As I got within a few feet of his presence, I began to place my face into the light, And it didn't hurt your eyes. It was like you could look into it. As I placed my face closer in towards his face, hoping I'd break through that veil, as my face did, he suddenly moved.
Nothing for me to return back for. I don't want to go back.
As I look back, to my amazement, God showed me one person that had loved me. The moment I saw my mother directly behind me, I wept. I thought I've just not only lied to God, but there is someone who loved me. And I thought if I'm dead, and this is actually happening, and I step through into paradise, into the presence of God, will my dear mother have any idea that her heathenistic son prayed in that ambulance, repented of his sins, gave his life over to God, and God heard this young man and caught him up into paradise? I thought my mother will think her son went to hell. I thought she'd get a telegram or a telex saying your son died last night. Would you like him shipped home in a box or a jar of ashes? I thought if that happens, it could destroy her. She's suffered so much, she's lost her family. I thought, how selfish would it be for me to step through and leave my mother to bury me and think I went to hell?